President Biden just signed into law today that has major implications for TikTok. Emily, thanks so much for joining us and being here on the East Coast.
It's great to be here.
So we were just talking before we started rolling about how complicated some of this has been, but let's break it down. President Biden just signed a $95 billion foreign aid bill.
Yep.
But within this bill, there is a little something that affects the future of TikTok. Maybe little is the wrong word. What exactly did he sign today, and what does it mean for TikTok users in the U.S.?
So attached to the foreign aid bill is a provision that would require TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to divest from TikTok. And if ByteDance does not divest from TikTok in approximately 9 months, there will be a ban of TikTok in the U.S. So this is essentially the U.S. government saying, we are not comfortable with you, ByteDance, owning and controlling this app. And unless you sell it, at least the U.S. portion of it, we're going to ban TikTok in the United States.
Now, you mentioned that 9-month time frame. So the clock starts now. What do you expect to happen in the next 9 months? Will ByteDance divest?
It doesn't seem likely. ByteDance seems to be saying that they're not going to divest, and they may not actually have a meaningful choice in the matter. So last time this came up was in 2020 when President Trump threatened to ban TikTok if ByteDance didn't divest from it. And there were negotiations at the time. ByteDance was talking to Microsoft. They were talking to Oracle. And apparently they got pretty close to selling off the U.S. part of TikTok. But at the last minute, the Chinese government came in and they changed their export regulations to say that ByteDance would have to get a license to sell the TikTok recommendations algorithm. That was now a sort of sensitive category of things to be exported. Now, that means the Chinese government has a say, again, in whether ByteDance sells TikTok, at least TikTok with its recommendations algorithm. And the Chinese government has suggested that they will not allow ByteDance to sell that asset.
So what's interesting about what you just said is it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that if there was an American company who said, we have X amount of money, we want to acquire TikTok with it, ByteDance might not bite because of the Chinese government?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. There aren't that many U.S. companies that probably have enough cash to buy TikTok. Since the last time that this asset was potentially on the market, it's only risen in value. It's incredibly expensive. It's incredibly sort of big and important. It has 170 million American users, right? So there aren't that many companies that could acquire it. And some of the companies that might acquire it might not be able to for antitrust reasons. So that really, we're talking about a narrow pool. But yes, even if there was a company that wanted to buy TikTok US with the algorithm, ByteDance might not be allowed to sell TikTok US with the algorithm if the Chinese government tried to stop it from doing so.
Is that something we won't know for another 9 months? Or could the Chinese government come out tomorrow and say, no, we're not allowing this, so you might as well ban the app?
The Chinese government has suggested that they oppose any sale of the TikTok app. They could change their minds. They could be more definitive. They could make sort of more definitive statements either way now that the bill has become law. But yeah, it depends. We might have clarity sooner. We might have clarity later.